The MoneroTopia weekly news segment is sponsored by WizardSwap.io, a non-custodial cryptocurrency exchange.
All right, so hey guys, welcome to the news section. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. The first thing that I want to talk about, well, let's have a relaxing weekend from now on. The first thing that I want to talk about is something really, really big. That Monero is now entering the top 25 tokens. It used to be top 10, and eventually it is going to be top 10. It really should be top 5. Should be, well, number 1. But yeah, so right now we are on, let's see, rank 23. So we passed a lot of, thank God we passed Pepe and all those other things. And yeah, we had a massive surge in price, which Body's going to talk about for sure. A huge spike in price. And that's amazing.
We did pass Litecoin for some time, and I guess the other one was Toncoin.
Toncoin.
We since slipped, so.
Oh, wow. So I guess we were 17. So that's, yeah. I think, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, we were ranked 17. And hopefully soon we're going to reclaim rank 10, being in the top 10, which we used to be as well. We need to kick Dogecoin out of there. Hopefully that's not going to take that long, but yes, hopefully we're going to be there again soon. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys is Monero flyers for newbies, available in English, French, German, and Spanish. So let's go here and open it. And this is the website, usexmr.com. And then if you want to, oh, that's cool. So you can actually download the light and dark mode PDF for these brochures. And let's see, let's actually click on them so we can get a better view of them. Oh, beautiful, nice. So it's a two-page. Yeah, it's a two-page brochure. Very beautiful, easy to understand. Download Cake Wallet or whatever wallet you want, but that's what we use. And yeah, very simple, very beautiful. I like how it looks like. It's a really nice design. And I'm really happy that we have a lot of information to give out to new people that are coming into Monero. When a lot of us started, we mostly had just the Mastering Monero book, which is, it's actually pretty friendly. There's a lot of math in there, from what I remember. It's been a couple of years since I read it, but nowadays you just have so much information if you want to learn more about Monero, which is awesome. So yeah, if you guys want to get some flyers, you can go to usexmr.com and spread it this way. You can also buy a good way to kind of spread the awareness. I used to buy stickers, and there used to be a website with a pretty good deal. You could buy a bunch of them for a pretty cheap price. And wherever I went, I would just stick an XMR sticker on vacation and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's beautiful design and it's cool. And I'm also watching the YouTube comments, guys. So if you have any link that you want to discuss, or if you have anything to say in regards to what I'm saying, then I'm paying attention to the chat too. And we currently have 0 likes. So if you can give a like, subscribe, comment, that'll be very helpful as well. Now, I want to talk about, which we talked about this topic in the past, but this person on Reddit said, don't cry because it's delisted, smile because that means it's working. And he mostly talks about Bitcoin and what Bitcoin became nowadays, which it's just in the hands of the institutions, essentially, how the large institutions just embrace Bitcoin fully, and that it's in their interest to do so. So that's what it mostly say. And I actually would like to read a bit about it, because he does make the point that, and indeed, we don't need these centralized exchanges, but as we talked in the past, it is in a way important. Like, yes, we really don't need them, and that's awesome. We're not dependent on them. But in the same time, and Doc talked about it, we talked about it in the show, it's important to have Monero on these centralized exchanges just because of visibility, and more people would see it and get into it. It's on Kraken, but it would be nice if somehow, I don't think it's going to happen, but if somehow we would be on Coinbase, just because so many people are using Coinbase and that they would see it and have more visibility, like the layman, that they are into crypto, they have Coinbase, but they are not on Reddit like we are, they're not on X like we are, and they just they might have heard about Monero, but not really. So in that regards, it would be nice to have Monero on centralized exchanges. But yeah, let's read a couple points. He made some good points. So Bitcoin's price may go up, but the embracing of Bitcoin by large institutions should tell everyone that it is now in the institution's best interest to do so, now that they have capitulated to a force they can no longer control. They now embrace Bitcoin, directly purchase or facilitate the purchasing of Bitcoin, and promote Bitcoin because it is something they do control, co-opted long ago by the very institutions and special interests that it was created to circumvent. And governments and large institutions embracing Bitcoin should not be welcomed by celebration but alarm. Bitcoin has made people and will probably continue to make people exceptionally wealthy, but we can no longer pretend it is the tool of financial sovereignty Satoshi envisioned it to be. And yes, it hasn't been for a long time. And we do see a lot of numbers being published out there, right? We passed the 100K. That was the 100K laser eye for a long time. We passed the 100K, and then possibly we're going for the $1 million Bitcoin. I mean, that's totally possible. Not the US is the Bitcoin reserve. So, and a lot of other countries are looking into it, buying. You got JD Vance and all these people talk about Bitcoin now. So, is it gonna reach 1 million? Maybe, possibly, but that doesn't mean that it's better. It doesn't make it a better product. Just like somebody that, we all know people that have a lot of followers, and they actually don't provide any value, but they have a lot of followers. That doesn't mean anything. And as Bitcoin adoption, not as currency, but as a store of value, because it doesn't work as a currency, but now it's just some glorified Pokemon card, really, that you just hold. As Bitcoin adoption, not as a currency, but as a store of value increases, so will the regulations surrounding it. Its inherent non-fungibility makes and will increasingly make transactions activity in the network easier to track and, importantly, easier to enforce regulation on. To quote Bitcoin power player and Blockstream CEO Adam Back, Bitcoin's fungibility is worse than PayPal. Yes, when it comes to and fungibility is just such an important aspect of a currency. And for a reason that we know, but in case you may not know, maybe you're new, it's important for a currency to have fungibility, because say if this Monero didn't have fungibility, and it's like Bitcoin, and this Monero has been used by some president or something, it will be worth more than a regular Monero. And as far as I know, there's a market for virgin Bitcoins that have no transaction history, because they're worth more, obviously, than one that has been associated with criminals like the North Korean hackers. Obviously, the one that is clean will be worth more. So fungibility is very, very important. Monero has so many important things. But so I thought about talking about this, and now let's move on. Another post from Reddit from Frederick. It doesn't make sense when people say Bitcoin was hijacked. It wasn't. It was designed, and this is what Frederick said on Reddit. He said it wasn't. It was designed to be a honeypot for the elite. Think about it. 21 million cap. Clearly, there won't be enough Bitcoin for everyone to go around. Also, a small percentage of the population is already hoarding 97 that's already been mined, causing an artificial price surge. God forbid if one loses access to that precious digital gold. Public ledger, anyone with internet access can see who has how much Bitcoin, how much was spent, senders and recipients' addresses. Fungibility, forget it. No two Bitcoins are worth the same value. A Bitcoin that was used for crime can be easily seized, and it'll be worth less, of course. You don't want to be associated with that. You'll become a criminal, essentially, or associated with the past criminals or the criminal activity that has been used in that coin. And ASIC mining. Only those who can afford those expensive specialized hardware are allowed to have a say in the protocol. And an important statement, don't get me wrong, I commend Satoshi, as we all do, for showing the world that there is finally an alternative to fiat. Bitcoin, unfortunately, is just not it. And these are very, very good points. Now, with the 21 million cap, yes, you can divide Bitcoin to very, very small amounts, which is nice, but still, the people like Michael Saylor, BlackRock, all these institutions that are now hoarding a large percentage of Bitcoin, and it's because of ASIC mining's obviously centralized. These are all things that are not good. Now, I mean, I don't think Satoshi wanted that, obviously, from the beginning. He gave birth to something very, very important, but because of how Bitcoin works, that's what it eventually led into. And Monero is the big upgrade that is getting upgrades, very important upgrades. Now, RetoSwap hits 50 million plus volume, over 1,000 trades in May, and the MoneroCon giveaway. RetoSwap continues to grow fast. We just crossed 50 million in total volume, and for the first time ever surpassed 1,000 trades in a single month. Giveaway, number one complete. Our trade by mail giveaway just wrapped, and one lucky buyer / seller payer each received $50 in Monero straight into their non-custodial RetoSwap wallets. But giveaway number 2 is a MoneroCon 2025 ticket. So they're giving away one ticket to MoneroCon taking place on June 20th to 22nd in Prague. So if you want to enter, go on RetoSwap on X, follow them, and like this giveaway post, and that's it. And then winners will be announced June 6th, so pretty soon. So while you have time, go on RetoSwap if you're interested to win a MoneroCon 2025 ticket. It's an amazing event, and I hope that you're going to win. And if you don't win, then you should go regardless, because it's just a good event. So that's awesome. Now, we talked about, I think, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, about that, I think, famous person's daughter or something that was attacked in Paris, and they tried to steal her crypto or stuff like that, or they tried to kidnap her. Well, this time, let's talk about an American tourist that just lost everything. $123,000 in Bitcoin, gone, drugged, robbed, hit by a car. And as kind of expected, it happened in London. There's a lot of crime in London, and they target people that have crypto. It's dangerous, so you should be careful. Still, it's still very beautiful in London. But yeah, so he was visiting London, went out for drinks, and he called an Uber, but it was a fake Uber. It was a fake cab. The driver looked legit, but inside the car, the driver offered him a cigarette. He took it, then he felt dizzy, drowsy, completely docile, and then, essentially he took his phone, and then he lost his private keys, seed phrases, all this stuff. So all his money is gone. I mean, they could do the same with Monero, in this case. But yeah, it's crazy what people are doing. Yeah, it's a sad story. But on the positive side, so we were talking about Ross maybe going to the PorcFest, and I guess he's going to PorcFest. So Bruce Fenton posted on X. He said, "Great to see Ross Ulbricht free and enjoying life, as we all do enjoy see him free. It was an emotional movement to see him and his wonderful mom, Lynn, who I've known for years. Lynn tirelessly attended Bitcoin and Liberty events, spreading the word on Ross's case. They'll both be at PorcFest in New Hampshire this year." So that's awesome. And then Doug reposted that. And then he said, "Sounds like Ross and his mom will be at PorcFest this year. We hope to get him to come hang out with us at MoneroTopia Privacy Coin tent that will be ran with Aaron our day." And then Doug also said, "I believe Aaron has accurately predicted that this will be the year of privacy coins at PorcFest. It does seem to be the case. This will be taking place at the same time as MoneroCon, and we'll be streaming the MoneroCon talks live at our tent. It's going to be a good time for sure. Maybe Ross stops in when we are streaming a Kayaba Nerve talk on Monero's upcoming FCMP implementation." So it sounds like an amazing time. And I've actually met his mom, and indeed, she was going to these events trying to just get Ross, her son, out of jail. And I'm so happy that he's out, and I'm happy that he's going to go to PorcFest. It's going to be a really good time. Now let's talk about Mitchell. He posted on X. He's an analyst at Blockware team, and he said, "I asked Saylor if MicroStrategy has any plans to publish on-chain proof of reserves. His answer will shock you. It's a bad idea." So it's 1 minute and 46 seconds. Let's give it a listen. And can you guys give me an okay if you can hear the audio, please, in the YouTube chat, or Doug Buddy?
Sailor, a huge fan of everything you've done. Does Strategy have any plans to publish their on-chain proof of reserves?
Yeah, proof of reserve. It's an interesting thing. Let me make the following point. A lot of people learn stuff from FTX and Mt. Gox, but I'm not sure they learned the things that the institutional community needs to learn going forward. The current conventional way to publish proof of reserves is an insecure proof of reserves. It actually dilutes the security of the issuer, the custodians, the exchanges, and the investors. It's not a good idea. It's a bad idea. It's like publishing the address and the bank accounts of all your kids and your phone numbers of all your kids, and then thinking somehow that makes your family better. It doesn't make your family better. So no institutional grade or enterprise security analyst would think it's a good idea to publish all of the wallet addresses such that you can be traced back and forth, and every future transaction can be traced. I would say go to the AI, put it in deep think mode, and then ask it, what are the security problems of publishing your wallet addresses, and how might they undermine the security of the company over time? It'll write you a book. It'll be 50 pages of security problems. So the problem with proof of reserves, the way that people do it right now, is it's first of all, it's a proof of assets that is insecure, and it is not a proof of liabilities. And so if you really want crypto security,
Yeah, so the answer is no. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Yeah, somebody said, is Sailor correct in that publishing proof of Bitcoin reserves is a bad idea, or is it a lame excuse that raises suspicions that he actually doesn't have what he says he has? And this person asked Grok, and Grok said, let's see what Grok said. Michael Sitter's view that publishing proof of reserves is a bad idea has some merit, but is debated. POR shows assets but not liabilities, so it doesn't fully prove solvency. As Ledger notes, security risks like exposing wallet details are a concern for Coinbase, but modern POR uses Merkle trees and audits to mitigate this. As Investopedia explains, no evidence links to POR to breaches per Cyber Defense magazine. Transparency from POR builds trust with exchanges like Kraken adopting it as standard. Sailor's caution isn't baseless, but suspicions of hiding assets lack evidence. It's a trade-off, security versus openness. The industry leans towards POR, but the debate persists. So, yeah, no. Michael Sitter doesn't want us to... Oops. So Michael Sitter doesn't want us to to see whether he has what he has. And again, like sometimes I just think, whenever I see his name, I just keep thinking about his Bitcoin bet. It's insane. Just how much money he has in Bitcoin and his bet. Like it just reminds me of 2008. But yeah. Now let's move on and let's talk about
the funny thing about that Sailor thing though is that it's like he's basically saying how Bitcoin needs privacy. You know, he doesn't want people to see his wallet balances. He doesn't want people to see the Bitcoin that they hold. Maybe he should be using Monero.
Didn't he say in one interview like a couple of years ago, maybe you need, like if you want privacy, maybe you need a Monero? Did he say that? I think he did a couple of years ago. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Okay. I remember that was big. Yeah. Maybe he wants privacy just for himself and then for us plebs to make it public. Just make it private for him and his friends. Yeah. Now, moving on, let's talk about Mayor Adams. And so he held a summit in New York City, and it's quite funny. So New York City hosted its first ever crypto summit. The event took place at Gracie Mansion, the mayor's residence, and was attended by prominent figures from the crypto industry, many of whom are based in New York. At the event, Mayor Adams made a case that he felt the attendees' pain, stating that they've wrongfully been persecuted, and he claimed that it's now safe for those in the Bitcoin and crypto industry to both speak up and set up shop in New York. Look how they treated you, said Mayor Adams. You were treated as though you were the enemy instead of the believers, he added. You've been hiding in the shadows, afraid to come out now. And then people started asking him, then you should take off the the bit license, like if you really care about this. So I don't know what his response is, but yeah, people said to build a thriving crypto economy, we have to get rid of the bit license, said one attendee. We at least need to build a regulatory sandbox in New York City. So with the bit license, it does make it a lot more difficult to operate. And that's because obtaining a bit license, as it's stating here in Bitcoin Magazine, often costs upwards of $100,000 and takes months, if not years, of cutting through red tape and hopping over bureaucratic hurdles to attain. So I wonder what he's gonna do. Is he gonna get rid of the bit license? That'll be awesome, but I haven't seen anything about it yet. So yeah, hopefully we'll talk about it one day. But I'm curious of what he's gonna do if he really wants to ease the pain and to let people come out of the shadows, as he says. So we'll see about that. Now let's see. This post is from Marion Naufal. New York City mayor's bodyguard tied to crypto torture den. So one of Eric Adams' bodyguards is under investigation after allegedly helping two crypto bros kidnap and torture a tourist over Bitcoin keys. Victim was picked up at the airport, taken to a 30K Nolita townhouse and held for 17 days, beaten, shocked, forced to smoke crack, and dangled from a staircase. What the hell? Cops found a saw, night vision goggles, and Polaroids with a gun to his head. Oh, Jesus, like, what? This is just maniacal. This is obviously not, like, if you really wanted to just steal his Bitcoin keys, this was not necessary. They could have done a lot less than that. It's quite sickening. But the suspects, crypto millionaires, the vibe, high-end frat house meets cartel dungeon, 100 million fortunes, a 30 million ransom, and NYPD's credibility bleeding out on the floor. And that's what it talks about. Let's actually watch this video, and then we're going to move on.
This morning, a first look at the Italian businessman and alleged kidnapping victim running barefoot and flagging an officer for help, an exclusive video obtained by WNBC. The unidentified victim, appearing to carry a bag and another item, escaped this luxury New York City townhouse where prosecutors say he was electrocuted, pistol whipped, and held captive for weeks in a shocking scheme to steal his Bitcoin. According to a bail application, the 28-year-old was finally able to escape Friday by promising to provide the defendant with his Bitcoin password contained on his laptop. When the defendant left the victim to retrieve the victim's laptop, the victim was able to escape down the stairs.
John, did you kidnap that tourist?
Crypto millionaire John Waltz was arrested Friday and now faces numerous charges, including assault and kidnapping. Law enforcement sources say an accomplice who has not been publicly identified is expected to turn himself in this week. Both had been in business for years with the alleged victim, whose net worth is around $30 million, as cryptocurrencies have surged in value in recent months. Bitcoin up nearly 60% over last year. A motivating factor, as security experts say, for criminals.
There's less guardrails on moving crypto than there is cash and wire transfers. So I think in the crypto world, you're going to have to start looking at some of the same safeguards as that we have in the regular banking and wire world.
Brazen attacks on crypto entrepreneurs have been popping up around the world.
I'm really concerned.
Crypto regulation expert Alexander Amanino says he started avoiding industry gatherings and varying his commute after a series of violent incidents in France.
I like how they let him just, they put like a sentence and then they just talked over him. I was actually interested in what he had to say.
This month.
Just the fact of being in the crypto ecosystem puts you a target in the back.
Yeah, there we go. They continued now.
Emily, do we know how?
But yeah, it's sad stuff. And then that's why privacy is very, very, very important. Even if you have Monero, obviously they, if you post about it online, that you have Monero or all this stuff, they'll still go for you. But overall, like privacy is important. Giving you KYCing yourself to Coinbase and these platforms is putting you at risk because they just have so much information about you. And we talked about it, I think, 2 weeks ago, where some hackers, they got a lot of information, such as addresses, phone numbers, emails, all this stuff about a lot of Coinbase's customers. So yeah, sad stuff. And just be careful. Be careful what you post, and just be careful. Don't boast online about how much you have and what you have and all these things. Now let's talk about Fluffy Pony's post quickly. And essentially, it just says that he says this is where we are in terms of quantum computing, and fully aligns with what PQC researchers I speak to have been saying. The doomsayers can be quite aggravating, but we are not close. So not close to practical breaks, and the leaps we need to make to get them are vast. So he said we're not close to being broken by quantum computing. I would say the risk is still there, obviously, with time, but for now, he said we are okay. And this is the image. Now, let's see. Let's talk about... Let's watch this video. So, Isa posted on X, she said, we're going to break a world record with the most Bitcoin transactions in one day. And Bitfaced reposted and he said, lol, is anyone going to tell them that those are not Bitcoin transactions? So let's watch this video.
Break the world record with the most Bitcoin transactions ever in one day. And we got all the POS devices, point of sale, that's what POS means. Ooh. And all you have to do is find Rockstar. He's going to give you a card with $20 worth of sats, and all you have to do is just purchase things. And that's literally all you have to do, and you will be participating in the world record of Bitcoin transactions.
And if you do a good job, a new card will be this one.
That would be amazing.
I like it.
It's her, right?
What you didn't print it?
Yeah.
She didn't print it.
No.
You didn't show me that.
All right, you don't need to play this whole video.
Yeah, okay. I was cutting it off now. Yeah. But I'm going to take it on the positive side and just say that, it's if they can get more people onboarded on Bitcoin, that's good with me. And then eventually, hopefully, they're going to find their way to Monero or more. So, whatever. If you get people interested and learn more about it, and, that's okay. Yeah, but it's still quite comical.
I mean, my hope with MoneroCon and MoneroTopia PorcFest taking place at the same time is we could get the most Monero transactions happening a day on chain, real Monero transactions, not second layer, not Lightning Network, not some custodial thing. On chain Monero transactions.
Yeah, I'm very curious too, because the events are overlapping, so that'll be interesting to see. Now let's watch this video from Fluffy Pony. So he wrote, leaked an internal training video for how WorldCoin and the orb will be used in the future has been snuck out from WorldCoin HQ. Truly a wonderful future in store. Just quick, Lucifer wrote on YouTube, Douglas, can you please reach out to Big Word 356, show him how to accept Monero donations through channel XMR on his live YouTube videos like you do, and explain to him why. So, Doug, if you can help him.
Yeah, thanks to WorldCoin, I found out my date yelled at a baby once. Definitely dodged a bullet there.
Oh, the orb is awesome. Like, I scanned my iris once, and now I know exactly who I shouldn't really hang out with.
So the orb, it basically lets us only hire, employees with verified good behavior, which is great because there's no more office drama.
So WorldCoin flagged my sister for gossiping, which, yeah, was harsh, but I guess it's necessary. Like, we all kind of have to do our part.
Yeah, honestly, my social score jumped like 10 points after I reported my neighbor for littering. WorldCoin, really rewards good citizens.
WorldCoin, totally stopped me joining this study group with a guy who forgot to recycle twice, actually. Honestly, saved my GPA.
Yeah, feels pretty great knowing WorldCoin is always, watching out, so I don't really have to.
I mean, I just use WorldCoin to screen other parents at play dates. So my kid, only socializes with good influences.
So Orb basically banned this trainer who kind of had a toxic attitude that, dragged everyone's scores down. Fitness feels like safe again.
Yeah, dating's a lot simpler now because you can, just orb scan your match. Makes it easy to avoid anyone flagged as emotionally unstable, I guess.
The Orb by WorldCoin.
But the thing is, the scary part is that people would actually think like that. It kind of reminds me of if you guys watched the Black Mirror episode. What was it? It was with somebody's daughter, and she had something implanted, and I think the mom could see through her daughter's eyes, and she could blur things and things like that. I don't know. It just this thing could become a reality, and it'll be very, very sad. And then Mon, hey Tony, what about Trump giving a massive contract to Palantir to create a massive database on the data of every single American? And that's actually the last thing that we're going to talk about. So yes, I do have that. That's very big. So let's talk about that. If you have anything anon, Mon, to say about it, I'll read out too. So, but yeah, that's really big for sure. We can miss that. So this is an AI too long didn't read summary of the full article because I can't access the full article. Well, I think there's a website that archives it, but let's just read the summary. So the Trump administration is expanding federal surveillance capabilities through increased reliance on Palantir's data analysis technology. President Trump's March executive order mandates data sharing across federal agencies, enabling the potential creation of a centralized, it's crazy, a database of Americans' personal information. Palantir's Foundry platform, now deployed in at least 4 agencies, including the Department of Homeland Security and the Health and Human Services Department, facilitates the organization and analysis of vast datasets. The administration has sought access to detailed citizen data, including bank account numbers, student debt amounts, medical claims, and disability status from government databases. Palantir has secured over $100 million in federal contracts since Trump took office, with ongoing talks to expand its technology to the Social Security Administration and the IRS, according to 6 government officials and Palantir employees. Oh God, that just sounds absolutely horrible. It just sounds like we are heading to a Chinese communist system in which you have the credit score and things of that nature. So yeah, it's absolutely horrible. And we use all these platforms are free. Facebook, Instagram, all these things are free, but as we all know, you are the product. There's just so much data being collected about you, and it's gonna be used against you. Like the best way of, if somebody put it in a nice way, like for example about Alexa or these things that you train, or any algorithm really, like you train it, you train the algorithm, but the algorithm trains you eventually. And in this day and age, I think it's also very, very important. Nothing is free. I comment on a free YouTube stream, right? But it's very important. Education is very, very important, and because in this day and age, if you are a dumb individual, then the algorithm is gonna just show you a bunch of dumb things. Like, have you guys ever been on somebody's phone or something and you go through their YouTube or stuff like that, and it's just so many, or Instagram, and they just have so many idiotic things in their algorithm. Before, I mean, and even now, you go to a library and you get all kinds of stuff, if that may awaken a bit of intelligence in you, but now this is just the algorithm. If you're dumb, then it's just going to feed you more of it. Honey said, if you're here, you're so far ahead of the people who still, yes, you're ahead. But yeah, in general, I just hope that, like, the first thing that every new president-elect or every government should focus on is just education. Because if we are educated, then it's going to solve a lot of problems, and stuff like that would not happen. See, like, probably not a lot of people even know about this. I think, like, we know about it because we are into it, but what about all the other people? Because it's horrible. I think Palantir and WorldCoin are good things. And the thing is, like, people would actually think like that we saw in that video. Like, oh, thanks for this implant. Now I can see, I've avoided this person because I've scanned everything about them, or their credit score is low, so I don't want to be associated. Was a WorldCoin video parody? Yeah, I mean, it's AI generated, I'm pretty sure, but it's very funny. Now, yeah, so guys, this was it. That was it for this week. I don't think I have anything else. Nope, I don't. Yeah, so that was it. Thank you guys for joining us. Like and share. There's only one like on YouTube. It helps us to spread the word. And yeah, have a good weekend. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you next week. If you guys always have any news link that you want to share with me, you can on X, or even as I'm doing the show, if you guys have anything you want to talk about, like on Mon. So yeah, thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.